Here at HTHMA, the students learn through projects, mainly, focusing less on California standards. California ranks and rates schools on their Academic Performance Index, which is based on how well students do on standardized tests. HTHMA's API dropped in 2006, but has increased since then. Should the school put a greater emphasis on California standards or spend less time on it and work through projects?
So each of those records in there,
If you look at the way that schools are currently rated by the state and national government, it's a really flawed system. It's kind of like if you look at someone's health and the only thing you look at is their weight and or their height. There's a lot of other variables that are important. So the state currently ranks and rates schools solely based upon 3 tests that are taken by freshmen, 7 tests that are taken by sophomores, and 4 tests that are taken by juniors. And that doesn't take into account what I think would be a better measure of the health or the success of a school, which is how many kids are graduating and going to college, and then how many of those kids that are going to college are graduating from college within 6 years.
Test scores are something that is one measure to look at how students learn. Critical thinking skills, problem solving and things like that can be incorporated within project-based learning and within the way that we approach learning here, that will also teach students how to problem solve when they read problems. I don't know that it changes how I teach as much as helps me understand that there is one piece that we look at and help our students understand how to, not only problem solve with the STAR test or things like that, but the SAT. I mean, tests are a part of life.
We went around the school and asked people their opinions on standardized test scores and project-based learning.
I don't think that project-based learning necessarily helps us on these tests because the tests are not very intellectual, they're very standardized, and I think that there's a big difference between these tests and project-based learning.
I don't think it matters how you learn it because project-based learning is just as good a way to learn it as you would learn it in a regular school. So since the tests are the same, as long as you know the material, it shouldn't be any harder.
I think it's challenging to incorporate all the learning necessary in projects. So I think that it's up to the teacher to design a project that has a good balance of all the knowledge that they teach on standardized testing and all the knowledge they need to complete a successful project.
I think that project-based learning prepares you for life, but not necessarily standardized testing.
I kind of just still do the projects that I have been doing, making sure that my students are prepared for other things, like making sure they're good readers, making sure they're good writers, which are critical skills that they'll have to face in college. So making sure that my projects address all of those needs.
project-based teaching is just like hands-on and not teaching you much.
We asked students if they believed they were prepared for standardized tests like the SAT.
I don't think that I'm fully ready for the SAT, but I think that I will be able to do well, but not as well as I would like to be.
I personally do not feel ready for the SAT at all.
We asked Robert Kuhl to summarize his philosophy on standardized tests and project-based learning.
A lot of people think that those tests are very important, and because they think they're very important, we should try to do our best on those tests without compromising real learning that we do through projects.